God's holy word declares that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And though marred by sin, creation still speaks of the wisdom, power, and beauty of the Creator. God made nature for us to enjoy, and there's so much to explore on God's green earth. But only in relatively recent times has mankind taken the plunge to explore the deep blue sea. With the invention of scuba diving came the wonderful possibilities of seeing and studying the underwater world. Scuba diving is probably the only way to visit another world without leaving planet Earth. It's nothing short of spectacular. But with so much heavy gear, it's probably the most cumbersome of all the sports. There are so many things that are vital in order to have a successful dive. You need a mask to see, fins to propel, a wetsuit to keep you warm, a BCD to keep you buoyant, weights to keep you down, a tank that holds your air, a regulator that gives you breath, and all different kinds of computers and gauges to keep you informed so that you don't do anything dangerous. It's super cumbersome, but absolutely worth it. Now, there are many things you need to know before you go scuba diving, but you might find it surprising that the number one and most important rule is simply this: don't hold your breath. Whatever happens, just keep breathing. And as long as you're breathing, you can deal with any difficulty below. You see, the natural instinct of land creatures like us is to hold your breath underwater. So once our head goes below the surface, our mind tells us to stop breathing. And many people find it difficult to overcome this mind block. Not only that, but there's so many spectacular things to see down below that will literally take your breath away. But holding your breath is probably the most dangerous thing you can do. It could lead to a ruptured lung, a panic attack, or an uncontrollable urge to shoot up to the surface, thus causing the bends. And so if you ever get the chance to experience the scuba life, just remember, keep breathing. And as long as you're breathing, you can deal with any difficulty underwater. The same is true for spiritual life above the surface. Prayer is the breath of the soul. And just as we're to breathe without ceasing, the Bible calls us to pray without ceasing. You see, when you breathe, you're both taking in sustaining oxygen as well as releasing the cellular waste product of carbon dioxide. You're receiving that which is good and releasing that which is bad. This is the same thing that prayer does. Prayer is the means with which we receive God's blessings and unload life's burdens. It is the avenue by which we give our problems to God, and that God gives us His peace and His power. You see, the purpose of prayer is not to inform God, but rather it is the means by which God transforms us. Many people find life so hard because they're not breathing the breath of prayer. They are spiritually drowning in a sea of sorrow, struggling in an ocean of trouble, when all the while the breath of prayer is right in their mouth. So remember, when life is overwhelming and you feel like you can't keep your head above the water, just keep praying. When finances are low and the bills are high, just keep breathing. When your kids are acting crazy and your spouse is acting lazy, just keep breathing. When the current of your sinful flesh is pulling you into forbidden waters, just keep breathing. Just keep praying. And as you do, God will give you the wisdom and the courage to change the things that you can change. He'll give you the peace and comfort to accept the things that you cannot change. And He'll give you the wisdom to know the difference. And in every single situation, He will bring a change in your heart. And when we come to trust God, both above and below the water, in the highs and in the lows of life, He will show us things we've never seen before. He will do through us things that have never been done before. And He will take us to places no one has ever been before. And finally, one day very soon, we will be able to leave this blue and green planet below to explore the heavenly realities of God's wonderful kingdom. And then we'll be breathing in the very atmosphere of heaven itself. And that, my friends, is a world you surely don't want to miss.